Okay, where were we? Oh man. Yeah. Living in a giant hazelnut skull and working at a plant. I don't know. You have to see it to believe it, I guess. It's over stories tall, the processing plant and everything. And there's 2,000 totes. They're square boxes. You know, by 5 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot roughly. There's 2,000, and there's like a tote storage area with a bunch of poles with a roof. That's about it. And stack them 6 high, so it's pretty high there. It's like 35 feet high, something like that. And there's the process. There's a packing plant next to the dryer, and then in back is storage, like 6 big silos and the size of a blimp hanger back there. And there's rooms for storage there too. And there's a gas chamber and a mystery pit. At one point they were going to put their own cracking machine to crack the nuts, but that fell through. But the pit stayed, and light of day never shined in there. That place was always dark, even with the lights on. But yeah, it was the season starts at the end of September. Usually picking. Into September it goes processing. Once we get everything, all the nuts in, process. So you get them all done and dried and shipped and whatever. Those days we shipped, when I started there, they're shipping everything to China. They did that. I worked there 20 years. They did that for 12 until they couldn't anymore. USDA shut them down. But yeah, when I started there, they'd package a load of 50-pound bags of nuts, and they'd load them by hand. Take them like, I don't know, hours, 3 or 4 or 5 hours. I went to the owner, I go, why are you doing this by hand? You know, you have forklifts, they have machines that do this, you know. It's like, really? Yeah, you just put on a slip sheet and you just push it off a pallet drive the forklift into the container and just shove it off in there. It's like, oh, really? Yeah. But yeah, they're pretty clueless about how to run stuff, so. I wasted so much time and effort in that place. That's the thing. Anyway, I was so overqualified. Every job I've had, it's so overqualified, it seems like. But that's, whatever. But yeah, I was running a pruning tower, which I like that. I usually never worked the full year, but they had pruning towers, so I thought that was fine. It's like had a box and a 20-foot articulating arm, so you go like 20 foot high, and a triangular base with front wheel drive, 2 wheels in front, 1 free wheel in back, and 2-wheel drives were independent, so you could kind of pivot and go in circles. Had a joystick, 360-degree joystick. Foot pedals to go up and down. Had a hydraulic lopper on a pole, clip, 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 and a little chainsaw too. I didn't mind that. I just listened to radio all night. Bad part of that, you're out in the weather, and the cold nailed me. I could never understand why I couldn't keep my hands warm, or my feet. They just were always cold, it seemed like, in winter. But yeah, I lugged through it. I did that for a couple of years till everything started going on my body, started going bad. And I was drinking heavier and heavier and heavier, because that's the only medicine I had. I couldn't afford a doctor, no health insurance. So what was I going to do? So I just toughed it out, and you know, yeah, it's, you know, I used alcohol as like a medicine. I mean, it's the only thing. I mean, it's cheap. You get it anywhere too. But yeah, I said this before. You know, I made a rule that once alcohol touched my lips, that's where I was sleeping. So as soon as I get home, I just start pounding alcohol. And you know, it got to where I really wouldn't get drunk. You know, on weekends, I got to where I was drinking like 16-ounce cans, big cans. 16 of those a night just to get to bed. There's a couple of weeks before that, I drank 12 one time, and I was tossing and turning, and it's like, But, yeah. Yeah, I drink, and on the weekends to get a buzz, I drink a full case, over 24, 16-ounce cans, so it's quite a lot of beer. I do that every night. And I'd eat something just to, I should eat something, you know, make an effort at least. But yeah, I think I mentioned this other one. I woke up one day and my right hand was paralyzed. I thought, well, what, did I have a stroke or something? So I'll just brief over this because I think I've done this before. But yeah, I talked to the doctors at the emergency room at Silverton. All they care about is how much alcohol I drink. They didn't look at the condition at all. So, and then I went to Salem Hospital, and it's the same thing. I laid in a bed for almost 9 hours. Every half hour, someone would come in. Sorry, the lab's backed up. You know, it won't be long. You know, sorry, the lab's backed. Yeah, shouldn't be long. Okay. But then they said the same thing. Oh, so you're drinking. So I go, you're telling me if I quit drinking, this will go away? She's like, yes. It's like, okay. I don't know. In a way, he was right. But anyway, I thought, well, I'll just quit. Because I wanted to quit for a long time. I'll do it. I called a place that specializes in that sort of thing. And they said, drink a couple beers the 2 days before you quit, so you don't have a coronary or something. So that was a good idea. I did that, and stayed up really late. I wanted to stay up. When I went to sleep, I wanted to be out. I wanted to sleep as long as possible, so I stayed up for like 24 hours. And when I went to sleep, it's not like I really slept right away. I remember in the brochure they said, well, you may experience hallucinations. But that didn't really happen until I started going to sleep. It's like I was in the area between sleep and awake, but I couldn't sleep because I was shaking. There were a couple times like someone just was like punching me in the back, man. It was like shaking so bad. But it was weird. It's like everything I ever looked at in my life or seen or was like poured in a or put in a blender, and there's this like chopped all up and pureed and then poured on a film, and it's just all scrolling past my eyes. It was the wildest thing. It's like one of these, I don't know, they're talking about these ayahuasca trips or something. This wasn't, I don't know that it was spiritual in any way. It was just wild. It was really cool. I wish I could videotape stuff like that. But like stuff would go by, there's like 15 things in a picture, and it's like, wow, those really things don't really have much to do with each other at all, and they really shouldn't be there together. But somehow it makes perfect sense, and stuff would go by and go, wait, what's this? Oh, is there a pause button? I just, wow, that went on for hours. So, anyway, I slept a long time. It was, the next couple days were pretty rocky because I was shaking pretty bad. And but after about 5 days, I felt fine. I started drinking a lot of water. Got into water then. Should have stayed into water. I got back into diet soda now, so that's bad. But, yeah, might quit drinking. But that's when the arthritis hit. It was after that. Because I really didn't know what I had. What is this, some degenerative joint disease or something? I have no idea. Maybe it's some nerve damage or something from working this place with carbon monoxide. See, I had no idea. I really didn't know. Didn't know it was arthritis. But it just kept getting progressively worse. And I just missed a lot of work, so I tried to work one Saturday and worked half a Saturday and just barely moved. I got home and everything just caught fire. It started about 5 p.m. and slowly just kind of crept up and up and up and up and up, and everything hurt. By this time, my right wrist had been paralyzed for, oh man, 3 weeks at this point. And the other thing, I showed the owner, showed him, hey, I woke up this morning like this, and he's just looking, and then there's two people, the owner, Dan, and Carol, in the office lady that run the show, and it's really, I don't know, Carolyn's been there for 50 years and lives near there, so, and Dan's took over for Dave. And I'm showing him, I can't move it, so I can't really work, and so they're like, okay, take all the time you need, whatever. But, I'd talk to Dan, and every time I'd see him, he'd laugh at me. Ha, 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 ha. He thought it was funny. He was mocking me right in front of me. I'm just looking at him. I just couldn't understand, the cruelty. You wonder about people. But it was a lot of it had to do with that place, I think. But yeah, every time I'd see him, it's like, I talked about it this to him later, much later. So that's anyway. But yeah, he thought it was funny. I mean, that's how people were out there. Steve was like that. That's why I ended up not being able to hang around him either, because there's some people that enjoy other people's misfortune. The Germans are the only people that have a word for that. It's like Schadenfreude, something like that. I don't know. Getting enjoyment for other people's displeasure, that's horrible. That's what the other side does. But yeah, anyway, everything just started tightening up. It just slowly, the meter, the pain meter, when I go to doctors, say, rate this pain on scale 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. And, this pain just went to 10, and it just kept going up. Both my right hand was paralyzed, but it didn't really hurt. Now my left hand and wrist were paralyzed, but it hurt like heck. And both my shoulders and knees, they were just on fire. It's the only way I can describe it. I'd used a nail gun before. Have you ever seen those? It was just like someone took a nail gun and shot nails into my shoulders and knees. My feet were swollen, and I could barely walk. And tears just kept coming down my eyes. I just couldn't stop. I mean, they just kept rolling down my face. And, you know, it'd take me 5 minutes to get, I thought, well, maybe I can lay down. And just like, I don't know, about not quite 20 feet, about 18 feet to my bed. Maybe 20, I don't know. But it took me half an hour just to make it there. Just get up out of the chair, step by step. And I remember thinking, oh, there's so much crap in my house. It's like a monument to depression. I thought, if I fall down, I might not be able to get back up. And that was a serious issue for me at that. So, okay, make sure of your footing. So, but I got in bed, and it's like, oh, this isn't working, you know. And the only way, in moving my knees straight was just agony. It's like, oh, it's like sandpaper in the joints. Oh my God. And I finally get laying and couldn't move anything. I thought, oh, this isn't gonna work. And I went to try to sit down. No, that's not gonna work either. I'm gonna have to try to sleep. I'm gonna have to try. I spent like, I don't know, the trips back and forth took over an hour. Finally got into bed. I got a radio, and I thought, well, man, I'll listen to music, and that just didn't help either. So the only way I found is to lay completely flat without moving. And as soon as, this is after hours and hours, just as soon as I started to doze off, I'd relax and I'd move, and it'd jolt me awake. And you can only lay on your back so long, but turning over was excruciating. I was trying to turn over without using your legs. I mean, at all. My knees were unbearable. So were my shoulders too, because I couldn't lay on my shoulders. Had to kind of lay on my side. I kind of rotate to the other side just so I wasn't on my back all the time, but that was horrible. It was a whole night, and I finally made it to sleep. And the next morning I got up, and it was a little better, but my hands were still really messed up. I mean, I almost had to use both hands to open my door. In my car door, the latch you pull up, I had to get both hands under it and kind of jump. And start my car, I had to use both hands. Like, push it, click, turn to the key. Oh, man, just every turn, my shoulders, just I just driving down the road with tears just pouring down my face. And I was trying to get water bottles. I went to a place I usually go. It's a kind of a supermarket type place, and there's a cart out in the lot. And I parked right where the cart was, and I hung on to it so I could walk into the store. And I got water, but I almost made a mistake locking my car, because this was a key unlock. I almost couldn't turn the key to unlock it. It's like, it took a Herculean effort to get that lock over. And then I couldn't open the water bottle. It was too big for me to get a grasp on. Man, I could die of thirst. I remember there's a little kid walking by, and I thought, I wonder if I could ask her to open this. It's like, don't do that. No. Hey, little kid, can you open this for me? So I went back inside and I found the generic brand of water. They had smaller tops so I could get my hand around it. So I bought a bunch of those. But anyway, after that, there was a number after the emergency room visit in Salem. They gave me a number. People don't take cash, doctors. They gave me a number of one guy who did take cash. And I called him up, and he knew in 30 seconds what I had. Oh, you got arthritis. It's like, really? Is that what it is? So he prescribed prednisone. And, after 3 weeks, it was a miracle. I mean, everything cleared up. It really did. I mean, I felt like it's a steroid. And, it was just perfect for what I had. But yeah, my wrist got better. I mean, everything. I could move around. And it was awesome. So that worked. But yeah, I thought after, I was all in that pain, and I thought I could start drinking again, but I'll just be drunk and in pain in the same boat I was before. So, but with the drugs I eventually took, you can't drink, and I was really glad I quit. First full day sober, I remember thinking, man, this May 2nd, I'll never remember that. I remember the first. Well, maybe something memorable will happen today, So I turn on TV, I'm flipping channels, and there's a news bulletin. Bin Laden killed in Pakistan. So now I remember what day it was. But yeah, I still couldn't work because I got Raynaud's. If it got in the winter months, I couldn't work the winter. The processing season was picked into September, and they go through October through November, December, whenever. See, that was a dryer. I was working in a dryer. I had to spend most of my time on the second level. The top was hot, the bottom was whatever it was, the temperature outside, but the middle always stayed a little warmer. So I could watch the whole plant from there. So, but still, But yeah, during the off season, if it got less than 55 degrees outside, I'd go outside, my hands would turn completely white, and I'd lose all feeling within 10 minutes. It took me 15 minutes to the store, and they were white long before that. And yeah, that went on for a couple of years. So yeah, I just couldn't work. And then 2016, everything was breaking. My car was, the front brakes, when I finally got them repaired, the guy at the shop said, I've never seen brakes work this worn before. And yeah, the day I saw my dad at the hospital, first time I'd seen him in 8 years, I was driving out of the parkade. I was on the 4th level up, and it's, you drive down, it spins down. I was on the 4th level, came down to the 3rd level, I touched the brakes, I hear clang, and I hear tink, 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 hear metal hitting the concrete. That's my right front brake. Yeah, guess there went the right front brake. But yeah, it was yeah, those seasons were awful. there's different guys who come and go. I remember, but the people out there, see, I didn't understand a lot of things. There's a lot of patterns there, a lot of misery. And not just there, people around. There's a T intersection, closest one to the plant, to the, see, the owner of the plant and all that, the owner lived on that same property. And it's all pretty close. That he lived near the shop. There's the plant, and then the tote storage, and then the owner. So, and the shop, and then the owner. So, yeah, the T center intersection up there. I mean, there's probably been a dozen deaths in the last 20 years. Easy, 100 cars easy went off that thing. Two of the people that I worked with went off that thing. Actually, maybe 3. But, yeah, I could go on and on, but I'll get to the point. The last year after I got a little bit of inheritance, I told, I got another place to live, because once I got some money, that place made my skin crawl. I couldn't wait to get out. So I found the first place that I thought was livable, and it was a risk, and it turned out to be a bad one. But yeah, I had to get out of there, and so I told him, hey, this is gonna, I just work that season. I thought, well, I could work here and then live there and supplement my income. But, so I worked that last season. That last season, every time I'd walk in the plant, it's just like my body would kind of seize forward. But there's something happened before that. After I quit drinking, I would work in this tote storage area. It's like I had totes on either side. And I was in a big long, like just a roadway basically for forklifts. So it was all covered up, and I was working on totes because they were a mess, and you didn't want a tote breaking a leak when you're driving down the road. So I was just working on totes in the off year. It's what I could barely do. But I kept feeling like something was looking at me from behind. I'd look behind me. I never saw anything. It's, what's going on? That's weird. And one day I turned around, I looked, and I don't know if you ever seen a heat shimmer when it gets really hot and you see like waves coming off the pavement. That's what this looked like, but it was the shape of a person. What is that? I didn't know what to think. I do not know what that is. And there's like a couple of weeks later, I thought someone was looking at me from in front. I looked up, and there's like the same heat shimmer like peeking around some boxes. That's not cool. I'm not really digging something looking at me. So yeah, it creeped me out. But I never saw it after that. But that plant was just, I'd walk into it, and I'd have to walk upstairs a lot, and it was just really tough walking up and down stairs for me. And there's a lot of physical labor involved, and there's always breakdowns and controversy, and there's always a lot of drama. But anyway, yeah, after that last season, I went home. The last day I worked, I thought, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to work there anymore. I was watching TV, I was watching the news, I was getting all upset, and my left leg started going to sleep. I go, that's weird. It's like my entire leg. Then it went away. Next day, the same thing happened, but it kept going up, 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 up. It's like, okay, I better go to the hospital now. So I made sure I was wearing clean underwear and socks and, and clothes and stuff, and drove to the hospital. And yeah, I had 2 little strokes. But luckily, the only thing I lost was the desire to smoke cigarettes, so that was good. But yeah, and then after that, I got disability. So then I had my house, and then I was able to research stuff. And I got the information I needed to, well, that I had been looking for, that explained my life, basically. I had be watching these shows, and it's like my guides would lead me to what I need to see. I'd be watching these shows, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. You know, it's just like revelation after revelation, and the archives too. My battery's dying again. I'll get to the good part next. I'll try to make it shorter. I'll break these up in littler parts. It's easier to take. It's better this way.